Buck Cherry on Radio 3, and it's a party. It's 20 minutes to 1, last bit of today's programme. Lovely surprise, got some live blues music for you coming up. Do go to our Morning Brew Facebook page, and all will be revealed because we're going live all the way from Melbourne, Australia. I want to say hi to Doc White.
G'day, Phil. How are you?
How
are you? Yeah.
Good on you. Thanks very much for coming.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to our mate Stanley Butler for fixing it up. I always love doing live music on this gig.
Great.
So, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been across in China. That's the reason for my visit. Doing a gig in a place called Jimmy Hornet in Zhongshan, owned by a friend of mine. And so I put a post up that I was doing that, and Stanley got in contact with me and said, well, while you're over here, come and do some shows in Hong Kong. So I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, look,
it's my first time in Hong Kong, and I'm having a ball. It's fantastic.
Yeah. What kind of gigs have you been doing here?
I did the Island Bar last night at Lama Island.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing La Lune tonight, and also the Wench.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
How do you describe your music? Obviously, we're going to hear some stuff, but where do you go in the record shop?
You probably go to the blues section, and you'd find me there. And that's the basis for just about everything I do, even with the band that I have back in Melbourne.
Yep.
Even though there are a lot of jazz players in the band, and we do deviate into that a bit, but it's pretty blues based. So I'm very kind of earthy in terms of my taste. It's a way that I kind of came to music was through rock and roll originally back in the 70s, and then trying to find out where those guys got their influences from, and then where those guys, when you find them, then you go back and find where the generation before got their influences from. And when you do that for long enough, you end up back at the dawn of recorded music. So Robert Johnson on the blues side, and Carter Family, and a whole bunch of guys. Frank, whatever his name was, the banjo player. And on jazz side, you end up with Louis Armstrong and King Oliver and all those guys. So that was kind of the dawn. You can't really go back any further if you're a musician that plays by ear. Yeah. There is sheet music from before that time, but if you're an ear player, that's where it stops.
That's where it stops. I don't know how I know this, but I was listening to, I think it was the first ever stereo recording in Aussie, and it was a thing called Margaret River Blues.
Right.
And
whom?
The lady's name completely.
Was it Margaret Road Night?
Pass. It was great though. Yeah. I mean, and it was Australian blues. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah, well, the guy that actually kind of kicked it all off, a guy by the name of Dutch Tilder, is unfortunately no longer with us, but he started out in the late 50s playing blues music. He was a Dutch immigrant who ended up in one of those immigration facilities that the English and the Europeans ended up while they were getting resettled, and
the migrant hostels.
And he latched onto blues music on a boat on the way over. He's heard of English sailor playing a record, and then decided that's what he wanted to do. And he made a huge career out of it.
Somebody said to an Aussie mate of mine, how did the blues get to Australia or something like that? And my mate says, on a boat.
On a boat.
Should we do some music? Can you just hold it up to the camera there and show our viewers your funky guitar?
Yeah.
What is it?
This is a guitar. It's called a resonator guitar, and it's made by the National Guitar Company, who have been around since 1928. These came onto the market. The technology was pretty schmick for the time. Under here, if you're watching on the TV, if you can't see it on radio, it looks a bit like a hubcap in the middle, in the sort of the lower bit of the guitar. And underneath the hubcap is a spun aluminium cone, like a cone you would find in a speaker.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you pluck the strings, it vibrates the cone. And it was invented to allow guitar players to compete with saxophone players and trumpet players in brass bands. And then about 4 years later, somebody invented the electric guitar and kind of ruined the market for it in the big cities. But the blues guys picked these up, as did a lot of country players, because the South hadn't been electrified. And so an electric guitar was a waste of time. And they were still loud enough that you could play, a fish fry or a barbecue or whatever and get people up dancing.
Good stuff.
That's how they came about.
Do join us on Facebook live if you can, and watch and listen to Doc White do his thing.
This is a ghost story. It's one of my tunes. Come here, Katie. I want to see your face. Come Come here, Katie, now. I want to see your face. Come to me, darling, now. Feel my cold embrace. Come here, Katie. I bet you thought I'd gone. Come here, Katie, now. I bet you thought I'd gone. But I've been lying in my grave, yeah, so damn long. See those hands. Come here, Katie, now. I want to see those hands. Those hands that murdered me, that held another man. Katie, I'm standing at the foot of your bed. Come here, Katie, now. I'm standing at the foot of your bed. I can hardly wait now, darling, till you take your last breath.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. That you were telling me about volume before we got played on the guitar. Yeah. It focuses the sound. It loves the microphone.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Thanks for being doing it.
Oh right. Okay. Well, we mentioned before about gospel music, so I might do a lively one that people can sing along to at home.
Okay.
I first heard this record, this tune on a record by Alan Lomax, who was the big collector of folk music in America, all over the world. In fact, he collected folk music in Europe and in Asia as well, Japan and what have you. And his collection is at the Smithsonian Institute now. It's a huge collection of stuff that he and his dad, John Lomax, recorded. And he put out a book called The Land Where Blues Began, and which was a kind of retrospective of his experiences. And he's a wonderful writer. It was a fantastic thing to actually read. And there's a CD that goes with it, and it's a bit eerie. He's talking about where he was recording stuff and the experiences that he had, and then you hear the actual tape that he did. Anyway, so he recorded this guy singing a tune in a bar outside of Nashville, drunk in the gutter, and came across him and decided it was worthy of his thing, and he went and got the tape recorder. In those days, a tape recorder was a 300-pound machine that fitted on the back of a truck, so it wasn't an easy thing to do. So he went and got the truck, hooked up the batteries, ran the wires and the microphones out, and got to this guy and made him to do it all again. This is called Glory, Glory, or some people call it When I Lay My Burden Down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. I'm gonna see Jesus high above me when I lay my burden down. Gonna see Jesus high above me when I lay my burden down. Sing along at home. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Shake hands, all the angels, when I lay my burden down. I'm gonna shake hands, all the angels, when I lay my burden down. Here we go. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Yeah, no more sickness, no more dying when I lay my burden down. No more sickness, no more dying when I lay my burden down. Yeah, glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Time, glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down. Yeah, when I lay my burden down. When I lay my burden down.
All right, on Radio 3, that was brilliant.
Thank you.
Real deal, isn't it? Wonderfully played and wonderful music.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Where can anytime? Come back to Hong Kong. Where can people find out more about your stuff? Give us a
I have a website, docwhite.com.au. You have to put the AU on the end.
Yeah.
But docwhite.com. And my music is up on that site as well. So if you want to have a listen, there's some video. My thoughts about life in general, which are I don't know.
Random
so
complex.
Back in Melbourne, I do a bunch of things. Apart from playing music, I act a bit and write for film. And
it's all there.
It's all there.
Great stuff. Tonight at
La Lune and the Bench.
Good on you. Thanks for coming. Looking forward to the next time.
Cheers. Thanks. Thanks so much.